The ceremony hall fell silent as 200 uniformed personnel took their seats. But then, a three-star admiral remained standing, his eyes scanning the crowd with increasing urgency. What he saw made every person in that room realize they had forgotten the most important guest of all. It was a crisp October morning at the naval station, Norfolk, when Admiral James Keating arrived for what was supposed to be a routine promotion ceremony. 20 young officers were about to receive their new ranks, their families beaming with pride from the audience. The ceremony hall buzzed with anticipation as dress uniforms gleamed under the lights and cameras. Admiral Keating was known throughout the Navy as a man of principle. His 3 decades of service had earned him respect not just for his strategic brilliance, but for something else entirely. He never forgot where he came from. As the ceremony began, the master of ceremonies called everyone to attention. "Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated." 200 people sat down in unison, the sound of shuffling chairs echoing through the hall. But Admiral Keating remained standing at the podium, his jaw set, his eyes moving across the rows of seats. The room grew uncomfortable. Officers exchanged glances. Was something wrong? Had there been a security threat? Then the Admiral spoke, his voice steady but firm. "I notice we're missing someone." He paused, letting his words sink in. "Has anyone seen Petty Officer Marcus Webb?" A young lieutenant near the front shifted nervously. "Sir, Petty Officer Webb is here. He's just stationed at his post by the east entrance, as protocol requires." "Protocol," the Admiral repeated, the word hanging heavy in the air. "And who decided that Petty Officer Webb should stand at a door while we sit comfortably celebrating these promotions?" The lieutenant hesitated. "Sir, it's standard security procedure for ceremonies. We always have enlisted personnel manning the entrances." Admiral Keating's expression didn't change. "Standard procedure. I see." He turned to address the entire room. "Before I came to this ceremony today, I took a moment to review the service records of everyone in this building. Do you know what I discovered about Petty Officer Webb?" The room was silent now, every eye on the Admiral. Marcus Webb enlisted 8 years ago, right out of high school. No college degree, no connections, just a kid from a small town in Ohio who wanted to serve his country. In those 8 years, he's been deployed 4 times. 4 times to some of the most dangerous waters on this planet. He's pulled 2 sailors from a burning engine room, risking his own life without hesitation. He's trained dozens of young recruits, many of whom are sitting in this room right now, wearing those shiny new officer uniforms. The Admiral's voice grew stronger. Last year, during a rescue operation in the Philippine Sea, Petty Officer Webb stayed in freezing water for 40 minutes, helping to secure survivors from a capsized vessel. 40 minutes. He spent 3 days in medical afterward with hypothermia. And do you know what his citation said? It said he refused to leave the water until every last person was safe. You could hear a pin drop. Several of the young officers being promoted that day began to look down at their hands. "So I'm going to ask again," Admiral Keating continued. "Why is Petty Officer Webb standing at a door? And why are we sitting down?" The master of ceremonies started to speak, but the Admiral raised his hand. "This isn't about protocol. This isn't about rank. This is about respect. This is about remembering that every person in uniform, regardless of their rank, regardless of their pay grade, is essential to our mission. We don't succeed because of admirals. We succeed because of people like Marcus Webb." Without another word, Admiral Keating stepped away from the podium and walked to the east entrance. The entire room watched as this 3-star admiral, one of the highest-ranking officers in the Navy, approached the young petty officer standing at attention by the door. "Petty Officer Webb," the Admiral said, extending his hand. "Thank you for your service. Now, I'm ordering you to come sit in the front row. We have an empty seat right next to my wife, and she'd be honored to have you join her." Marcus Webb's eyes widened. "Sir, I couldn't possibly. That's an order, Petty Officer." As Marcus walked to the front row, something extraordinary happened. Every officer in that room stood up, not because protocol demanded it, but because something had shifted in their hearts. They weren't just watching a ceremony anymore. They were learning what leadership truly meant. The ceremony continued, but it was different now. When each officer received their promotion, they weren't just shaking the admiral's hand. They were being reminded of something vital. Rank doesn't make you important. Your character does. Your actions do. How you treat the people around you, especially those who society tells you are beneath you. That's what defines your worth. After the ceremony, Admiral Keating was asked by a reporter why he had stopped everything. His answer was simple. In the military, we talk a lot about leaving no one behind. But we don't just mean in combat. We mean in life. We mean in moments like these. If we can't honor the Marcus Webbs of the world during the ceremony, how can we expect to honor them when it truly matters? Every person deserves dignity. Every person deserves to be seen. Rank might determine who gives orders, but it should never determine who gets respect. True leadership isn't about the power you hold. It's about the people you lift up. It's about recognizing that every role matters, that every person has value, regardless of their title or position. The next time you're in a room where some people are standing while others sit comfortably, ask yourself, who decided this was acceptable? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it? If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more inspiring tales that remind us what truly matters. And in the comments, tell me about a time someone showed you unexpected respect or dignity. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear.